our webinar, Notion Year in Review, newest releases to power 2025, and Happy New Year. My name is Anya, and I am so glad that you could all be here today. While we give everyone a moment to join us, I'd love to kick things off with an icebreaker. What is one word you want to be the theme of your 2025? While you type in the chat, I can share mine. I feel like that's only fair. My theme for the next year is focus. I am really looking to focus on initiatives and habits that matter in both my personal and my professional lives and pay less attention to the other noise that I am so often distracted by. I see sanity, which is a really good one, efficient, peace, do less. I think prioritizing doing less is sometimes the most impactful. Commitment, love that. Diligence, discipline, structure. I see some really great words for 2025. Prioritization, efficiency, focus, freedom, progress, impact. A lot of themes about I don't want to say focusing your time because that was my word, but really finding what matters to you and going for it. Best version of me, AI free, that is an interesting one. Delight, these are all such wonderful words to focus your 2025s on. Okay, I see that the number of people joining us is starting to slow down a little bit, so let's get started. Again, welcome to our webinar, Notion Year in Review, Newest Releases to Power 2025. Today, we'll be showing you some of our top releases from the past year and a few use cases that we've seen teams get value from. My name is Anya, and I'm on the marketing team here at Notion. I'll kick things off here, and then I'll hand it over to Holly, who is one of our product marketers here at Notion and is such a Notion expert. Holly, do you want to come on and say hi, introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Holly. If anyone was following along with the promo for this webinar, I am filling in for my teammate who is sick, David Tibbetts. He is the actual Notion expert, so I'll be doing my very best to fill his very big shoes.
Holly is also an expert. Before we get into some of these releases, let's quickly go over our agenda. We're going to kick things off with a little bit of housekeeping, and then I'll pass the mic over to Holly, who will dive into the webinar. And after that, we'll have a Q&A session. Onto our housekeeping, and I promise this will be super quick. First, we will absolutely send you the webinar recording. Whether you're joining us now live or watching this at a later date, you can expect to receive the email with the recording around this time tomorrow. The next thing, please use the Q&A for any questions you'd like to ask Holly and use the chat for everything else. We love hearing from you, and using the right tab for Q&A or chat ensures that we see your thoughts and questions. If you're not sure where that Q&A is, on the right of your screen, you should see 3 tabs: the chat, which you'll be in, docs, and then Q&A. And finally, in the spirit of hearing your feedback, we'll also have a survey, which I'll launch during the last minute or so of the webinar. And I would love to hear what you want to see in future webinars, along with any other feedback that you may have for us. That's all from me, so I'll pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Anya. I did see someone in the chat ask if there is audio right now. Is anyone else having trouble hearing us? If you could respond in the chat. People can hear? Okay. Okay, great.
Okay, wonderful.
Maybe, Anya, you can help me follow up with folks that might be having issues.
Absolutely, yep. You got it.
All right, sorry about that. Sorry for the distraction. Okay. So Happy New Year, everyone. It's a time of year for planning, reflection, and resolutions. So on the theme of resolutions, we're going to follow this throughout our webinar today. Resolutions tend to fall into 3 categories: diet, exercise, and people. So maybe eating more vegetables, getting more protein, giving up dairy, unlikely for me, I like cheese too much. Exercise, going to the gym, walking more, practicing mindfulness, meditation, or maybe people, calling your family more or less, practicing gratitude, being present around others. So we often set these resolutions for our personal lives, but what about our professional lives? Today, we're going to talk about how you can use some of Notion's most powerful capabilities to help you achieve your professional goals in 2025. And they can still be categorized across diet, exercise, and people. So let's get into it. Diet. You are what you eat, they say. So what does dieting have to do with work? At work, we consume information, but this isn't always efficient. Coveo Workplace Relevance Report says that knowledge workers spend about 3 hours a day just searching for the information that they need. That's a lot of time. So let me share 2 recent Notion releases that can help you find the information you need faster. The first one is AI connectors. If you're not familiar with this already, this is a way to have all of your workplace's knowledge at your fingertips. Just ask a question and Notion AI will search across your entire Notion workspace, Slack, Google Drive, GitHub, and more tools coming soon to help you find the answers you need with citations. So what might you use them for? It's really helpful to fill the knowledge gaps. It's great at surfacing docs that maybe you didn't even know existed, help recall old Slack conversations, who is I talking to about that thing, and new employee onboarding. Maybe you're new and you don't want to pester your colleagues about answers that might seem obvious. Notion AI will be your best friend. So let's see how this works. If you come down to the corner to this Notion AI face, you can always click this button to open the chat here. It has some nice suggestions for you, and you can also see all of the sources that Notion AI is pulling from. Right now, you can see that I have selected all sources that I can access. So the biggest range of sources that it's pulling from. You can limit it to the page that you're on currently. You can select a team or page within your workspace, and you can connect to your external tools. So in this workspace, we're connected to Slack, Google Drive, and GitHub. So when I ask a question, it's going to be searching across all of these different sources. You can also access this same window through the Notion AI tab right here in our sidebar. We'll get into that at the end. The second is Charts. Charts was an exciting launch. This is a way for you to quickly and easily visualize data sets in your Notion databases. We've seen them being used across user research teams, engineering teams. Help me get a quick look at a glance of how tasks are progressing with my engineering team. Even recruiting teams have been using this or using it as a CRM. So let's see what this looks like in action. Oops. Here you can see I have a bug tracker database, lots of different bugs, different statuses. I can create a chart, like you saw earlier here, of all of the tasks, 29 total tasks, grouped by their status and how many are in each status category. Maybe another example could be a product roadmap. You have your product roadmap with all of your projects across the company. And this chart might show, okay, how many projects is each team responsible for? It looks like the data team has the most with 3 projects on the roadmap. And it's a really quick way or easy way to get a quick view of what's going on with your data. Our second category is exercise, working hard today for a stronger tomorrow. So what do exercise goals in your personal and professional lives have in common? You're building a muscle, right? It takes practice, repetition. Some Notion features might take a bit of effort in building, but it can help you set yourself up for success over time. The Anatomy of Work Global Index reports that knowledge workers spend 58% of their time on work about work. That's more than half of your time doing this work about work instead of your actual work. Imagine you had this time to work on other initiatives. Here are 2 new Notion features that can help you automate your busy work so you have time for the more strategic work that you were hired for. The first one is automations. So what are automations? They help you create bespoke workflows based on triggers and actions. So simply put, when this happens, do that. What might you use them for? Maybe you want to send an email when a task is escalated. This could be really helpful for engineering or CX teams. Assigning new tickets to whoever's on active triage duty, especially helpful for CX teams. Or maybe you're on the marketing team and you want to be able to automatically publish a new post to LinkedIn or X when the copy is approved. So let's see how these look like in action. Let's start with the mobile team. Here's a database for the mobile team. These are the mobile team tasks. And I've set up some automations that you can see here. This little lightning bolt in your databases, this is where automations live and where you create them. So you can see here with this first example, I've set up an automation so that when a task is escalated, an email is automatically sent to this mobile team at Make Notion, and I can customize the email thread. So I can mention the page that triggered it, so you can quickly jump into Notion when the email's been sent. You can see I CC'd the manager for this team, and I've also provided a paper trail of the time that the ticket was escalated. All of this can be customized in these great little @mention toggles or with the supportive formulas. This is a new feature that we just shipped for being able to send an email from Gmail. The second one is assigning new tickets to whoever's on active triage duty. This leverages formulas. In Notion, in this database, we have another database that's tracking who's actively on triage. So we've built a custom formula that's able to identify who's ever active on triage duty when a new task is created and assigned to that person respectively. So that helps with some of like the manual work and just help to automatically assign things when things are coming into your queue. Let's look at a non-engineering focused one and go to our social media team. Same thing, social media calendar, but you can see we have our automations here. This, I'm using our new send webhook action with automations. So what I'm able to do is when the status is approved and the key channel is LinkedIn, I'm going to send a webhook to Zapier to publish my post on LinkedIn with the approved copy. Okay, the next one. This was a crowd pleaser. This is layouts. So what are layouts? They help make database pages easier to use and read. So you may have seen with some of the databases that I showed, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of properties. There's a lot of fields and context. And you can have this for any type of database. I know I personally have a recipes database in my personal Notion workspace, but they can also be used for task database, docs. So let's see what the impact really is. In this, we're going to show the help desk. So I have a help desk loaded here, and this is the before version, before any layouts. You can see I have lots of information in this database. And when I open any page, it's a long list of properties. It's kind of hard for me to tell what to pay attention to. So if I come up here, you can see this customized layout. If I click this, it opens this new preview for me to be able to customize how my pages look in each database. And this is a per database setting. So you can have a different layout for your recipes, a different layout for your help desk, based on your needs. So maybe I want like pinned properties here, submitted by. Maybe I would like to be able to have the status, etc. These things are going to always show at the top. I can also have a panel group over here that shows information, and I can customize what is showing where. So let's see what this looks like in action. So this is the same database, but after my layout builder. You can see I have my pin properties here. So submitted by, status, and urgency. I have notes, anything that's relevant to the ticket that was filed up close, and then attachments also featured up high, so I can see the actual damage. This is especially helpful for something like CX tickets, where images and things like that are more helpful. But you can imagine how if you had a recipes database, maybe you would have like necessary ingredients, cook time, things like that. That would be featured up front, and then maybe some pictures even at the bottom still. We're excited to see what you build with those. It's a really fun way to be able to customize your data. Next, we're moving on to people. New year, new you. Often these resolutions are how you show up for others. And at work, that might mean being a better teammate or collaborator. And you want to make it easy for others to work with you. These tools that I'm going to cover next make collaboration easier and more seamless. The first one is forms. This was a highly requested feature from our users. So what is it? It's an ability to help you collect the information you need at scale. And what might you use it for? Personally, event RSVPs. I know I've personally used them to send them out when I'm coordinating bachelorette parties, collecting feedback for features maybe, or maybe even filing tickets or requests like that help desk example that we showed last time. So let's see how this would work in action. Maybe I'm starting with a new help desk or a new feature request tracker or anything where I'm trying to collect data. If you're already in a database, if you just click the plus button to create a new view, you'll see this new form option, and you can click that here. It's going to ask you if you want to pull in any existing properties that you have. So I'm going to say yes. So you can see that the description, and then the office. This is from the property that I'd already created, so it's filling that in for me here. You have the option to make things required, to add a description. Maybe it's helpful for you to describe the question that you're asking, ability for long answers, and the ability for you to be able to like switch between, is this like a multiple choice question, a checkbox, maybe email, lots of really great options. And you even have the option to make this question different than the property title. Okay, so going back, let's see what this actually looks like if it's already built out. So let's go back to our built out help desk. Here you can see this form builder because we had already built the form. And here you can see this create a ticket. You can add a cover image up top to make it look beautiful, and all of your customized answers. So you can see that this is the property that we were working with earlier, and then they added some others. These little asterisks means that it's required, ability to upload attachments, and then they all get funneled into your form submissions and get added here. The next is suggested edits. This is really helpful for collaboration and has been a long time feature request. So what is it? It helps you suggest edits that the author can easily accept or reject. Before we had suggested edits, I know we used comments a lot. It was not the best use of comments. Now you can have suggested edits. It helps keep your pages cleaner and clearly see the changes that need to be added or not. You can use these for blog posts, landing page wireframes. I know that I use these a lot on the PMM team. And then collecting feedback from your manager on documents before sharing it with others. So let's look at this live. So if you highlight your any text in Notion, you'll get a list of options, which is not working. There we go. It's right here, suggest edits. When I turn on suggested edits, you'll see that it's up here suggesting. And now I can hop in, and maybe I want to say, delete that, delete that. And delete this. And then I can see the suggested edits here. So maybe I want to go ahead and accept all of these. Great. And delete those extra spaces. Awesome. What might this look like in a doc? Here we have this H2 product strategy, and you can see all of the suggested edits are going through the page. This makes it really easy for you to go in, see the suggested edits. Maybe you accept, maybe you reject them. You can add reactions to them, and you can add comments to start a thread about them. So this is kind of combining the power of comments with your suggested edits and helping you keep your page clean as you go. Okay, so I've been chatting a lot, but I have one final thing for you, and it's one thing to help you stick to your resolutions this year. So for professional resolutions, maybe you can give these a try and check out our templates. If you're in Notion, you can always find templates at the bottom of your left-hand sidebar or going on our website. But something maybe fun for professional or personal resolutions is using Notion AI. It's our New Year's resolution AI skill, and it's available through the end of January. So you have a little over a week left. And you can tell Notion AI what you want to improve on this year, and it'll help you make a doc that breaks it down your goals into smaller, achievable milestones. So let's check it out. I'm going to say I want to figure out a morning routine that works for me and commit to going on a one bike ride per month in New York. So you can always go down here, but I'm going to go up to this Notion AI here. It's going to open a new window, and you can see New Year's resolution under draft. And I'm going to type in my prompt. I'm going to give it a moment to think. Amazing. And now I can go in and kind of check out what it's telling me. Maybe some helpful questions for myself, measurable milestones. Okay, maybe I want to hop back in here and say, assume maybe I'm new to biking and I want to help, with a little bit more measurable goals that I can work towards. And you can see that it's already updating the existing page. And you can see it's already adjusting for, I'm going to set some measurable goals, 2 to 3 miles. Like, this is really great. I'm going to accept that. Accept. And I'm going to open my new doc. And there it is. This is my 2025 resolution for bike riding and setting myself a little bit more like monthly or daily morning goals. So we're excited to see what Notion AI can help you with on your 2025 goals. And I think it's time for questions.
Amazing. Thank you for showing us this. I just used the resolutions, creator, and like everyone else, trying to get back into running after a break. It's been great so far. So very excited to keep going with that. We do have quite a few questions, so let me find some. This person is asking, I am just starting to use Notion. What is the best thing to watch to get everything set up quickly? Another person also asked a very similar question. They have a team, they want to get them onboarded on Notion. What resources do we have? What's the best way to figure Notion out?
I don't know if any of you have heard of Notion Academy, but we have some really great tutorials that will go through a lot of Notion basics, but we've also have added additional things for like even maybe you started using Notion, it's not as organized as you would like, and you're looking for great ways to clean up your workspace. We've added courses for that as well. So I would highly recommend Notion Academy. We also have a really great user community and lots of ambassadors and people that are super happy to share their insights and knowledge. So definitely don't sleep on any of the ambassadors that we have on YouTube and watching their videos. Sometimes it's a stylistic thing, and you can find people that are using Notion the way that you want to use it, and you can follow along with them. Yeah, so I wouldn't be shy getting out there. There's lots of people and lots of templates as well.
I love the templates for getting started. Back, many years ago, before I joined Notion on the team, and I was trying to set up Notion and figure out how it worked, templates were amazing for just seeing what was possible, what could be set up. And then, of course, as someone who does webinars, I want to also plug some of the workshops that we've done. If you go to notion.com/webinars, you can see some of the workshops where our solutions engineers walk you through some templates so you can customize it, following them along live, and leave that workshop with a fully customized template that you can start using immediately. All right. Next question here. Can forms be filled in by non-Notion users like partners or customers without being part of our Notion team?
Can you say that one more time?
Can forms be filled out by non-Notion users like partners or customers without being part of their Notion team?
Yes, Notion Forms.
Yes.
Yeah. So Notion Forms actually has the ability for you to set anonymous. So they don't even need to have they don't even need to have a Notion account in order to fill out the form. I found this to be really helpful. Let me show you. So when you're in your form builder, you have the option to have different sharing options of who can fill this out. For this one, it's anyone at Lumi Labs, because the idea of this is like it's an internal help desk, so you wouldn't have anybody outside of your workspace, but you could have it where it's like anyone with a link. You could have it totally closed, and you can also allow for anonymous responses if that is something that's interesting to you.
Amazing. I have a few more questions on forms. This one is, are the attachments that you used for the form the files property? And can you upload multiple photos at once?
Yes, and yes, it is the file property. So let me go in here. We have attachments, and you can upload. There is a size limit, and then you can upload up to 10 images. And then
Amazing.
the way it comes in is attachments, right? File property.
Wonderful. Thank you for showing us that full process. I find it's really helpful to see both sides of it. Okay, let's see. When using suggested edits, does the page track and keep a history of accepted and rejected edits along with the comment stream for each?
Yes. So you can see comments and suggestions here. You can see comments only, suggestions only, open and resolved. There might be like some discrepancies if things are just deleted entirely. I don't think that those show up here, but generally like what you've been working through will all show up in here.
Perfect. Let's see. Sorry, we have a lot of questions here, trying to see what we have covered, what we haven't covered.
In the meantime, Kenneth
Go
asked
for
about the
it.
desktop app, and we do have the desktop app for Windows. I added the link in the chat for downloading. I don't know the
Wonderful.
experience personally because I'm a MacBook girl, but we do have it for Windows.
Thank you. This person is asking, I pay for ChatGPT to help me do creative copywriting, mainly on websites and product marketing projects. Can Notion AI actually do this? I would consider, using Notion AI if that's the case.
So I'm a little biased, but like I am product marketing here at Notion using Notion AI. I've actually never used ChatGPT, but I really like it for our purposes. And one of the things that I really like is that it's able to search your workspace. It's really just feeding off of what is in your workspace and learning based on the content that is there. So what that can mean for marketing is we have tons of docs on like what's the Notion tone, what's the Notion brand, how do we talk, what's our, punctuation and like that type of stuff. So when I'm using Notion AI and maybe I hit like a brain fart and I'm just been like writing for a while, and I'm like, okay, let me just brain dump everything on the page. I can use Notion AI and write a prompt, and I can even say things like use the Notion tone, include things from, and like reference specific pages in our workspace. Maybe I want to incorporate a pitch that we have or something like that, and it'll fine tune the responses based on what's in our Notion workspace. And that's how Notion AI works for everyone. It's tailored to your workspace and the content that you have in there. So for me, it's really helpful for that reason. And it learns from it. Like it continues to learn and get better.
Totally agree. I use Notion AI a lot just because it does have all of the context that I need. I know we're running out of time, so thank you so much for walking us through all of these features. Really exciting to see all of the ways that they have been helping teams save time. It's been really great. And then to the audience, thank you all for joining this webinar. A few things to wrap up. First, I want to take the opportunity to invite all of you to our upcoming upcoming webinar where we'll be covering Notion project fundamentals. Whether you're new to Notion or just want a refresher course, this webinar will be a great way to ensure that you can build beautiful projects. If you're interested in signing up, please go to that Docs tab for the link. It's right in between the chat and Q&A. Secondly, I'm going to launch the survey now. Please do fill out the survey so we can hear your thoughts. I see a lot of questions. We can try to answer those again. And I would love to hear some of these webinar suggestions and your feedback here. That is all from us. Thank you again for joining us today. I know your time is really valuable, so I appreciate you spending the last half hour with us.
Thank you for joining.
All right. Bye.